Yo, welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. There he is. And today we have so much to talk about. We're going to talk about Ripple, XRP, the lawsuit with the SEC. There's some new stuff that we got to talk about pertaining to that. Even Gensler, Brian Brooks taking over Binance. What is going on with all of the things in the crypto space? We're going to cover that and so much more. You ready, Chip?
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain with Jeff and Chip.
So we've got an action-packed night here, Jeff. Let's just jump in to the shallow end, head first for maximum impact. Let's do this. So this is some absolutely rocking, massive news. Now, we know all about Michael Saylor and Micro Technologies or whatever it's called. What's the name of this company? MicroStrategies.
MicroStrategy.
Yeah, they've been so all the institutional money's been going to Bitcoin. But look at this. XRP reports a massive jump in weekly institutional inflows. The world's fourth largest cryptocurrency is gaining popularity among institutional investors.
Really?
It attracted nearly 33 million worth of weekly institutional inflows last week at the highest level on record. It set a brand new record with institutional investors. Jeff, what are your thoughts on that?
Hey, you're saying that's the XRP? XRP moving up the chain. It was in the number 4 spot. But you know what's interesting? Even the institutional investors, if you're going to look at the top hierarchy of the digital assets, you're going to look at Bitcoin number 1, Ethereum number 2. Ethereum's going through a little bit of turmoil right now, especially as it's causing all these high gas prices, which is a little bit out of control. I talked a little bit about my experience the other night, and that gas price, just trying to move $100 worth of something almost costs 40 or 50. But institutional investors, where are they going to go from there? You're going to look at the next one down the list, and that's XRP, especially when you look at the use case, the intended use case, the cross-border payments, the remittance payments, having an impact on the financial space at large. We're talking about global.
That's exactly right. But look at this. So according to the latest weekly digital asset inflows report, it was published by CoinShares. We'll take a look at that a little closer. XRP nearly doubled its total digital assets under management to 83 million last week. Overall, the market attracted roughly 233 million inflows last week. The total value of the global digital asset under management reached 64 billion for the first time. And this is interesting because CoinShares, one of the things that they do, they take a look at institutional type investors. And actually, before we take a look at this, let's take a look at their website so you can see a little bit. This is what they do. They're pioneers in digital asset investing. Their mission is to expand access to the digital asset ecosystem while serving its trusted partners. And this is CoinShares, coinshares.com. So they specialize in institutional investing. So to see this jump in XRP, and it's something you and I have always talked about. We've stated that once XRP gets moving, $2, $5, $10, $15, holy cow, it's going to look like a bargain, right? By comparison, who knows where ETH trading at? Bitcoin could be the 60, 70, 80, $1,000 range. Or how much can you buy at $10, $20? And I was saying this to my buddy the other day who got in. One of the things that happened with him is he goes like, oh gosh, I bought it at the top. I bought it $1, maybe over $1.50 something, and it slid down. And I'm like, you're going to tell a story one day that you bought under $2, and people will be like, what? You were right there at the beginning.
It's crazy. It's insane when you think about it. Think about somebody that bought Bitcoin at $6. Imagine buying Ethereum at $6. Imagine sitting even not that long ago with BNB sitting at $10, $12. I mean, now it's at 500 plus, and you're sitting there, hey, I got in at $10. And you're like, you got in at $10? And at $10, people are questioning, I wonder if I should get into BNB. So would you look at XRP early days in the space at large? Like I 100% agree with you. project out a year, 2 years, 3 years, go out 5 years. And where is this space? If you want to look back 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, even 10 years back, look at how the space is developed. It's really, really, it's amazing. It really is. And look at John Doe. Imagine buying XRP at 22 cents. Man,
Or
we
11.
were there. Or
We were
11.
there.
And we were there not that long ago. 20 cents, 17 cents, 15 cents. And that was now. But think back a couple years ago. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Oh, Jeff, look
ebb
what
and
happened.
flow.
Our one loyal viewer is here. Everything. Nice. Thanks.
Yep.
So, you're right, Jeff. But this is interesting here too. Look at Ethereum right here. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Ethereum continued to see outsized inflows relative to its market capitalization of 65 million. Inflows were also seen in Bitcoin Cash. Now that one surprised me a little bit. I mean, it's only 4 million, but Polkadot 5, it's not beating by much. And then you got Binance, 3 million, Tezos 7, and multi-asset. So this is what the institutional guys are looking at, and gals too. Let's be politically correct here. Inflows, digital asset investment products total 233 million, the largest inflows. And you don't see this too often. XRP saw inflows of 33 million, nearly doubling. Most popular with weekly inflows, 33 million, Jeff. So it's really kind of put itself on the map. And that was just a little bit of a price jump. What's going to happen when it really starts going parabolic? And it's going to happen.
It is. And some people just aren't players in an investment until it reaches, certain indicators. So think about, when you look at like MicroStrategy, all this time, everything's in flux. Michael Saylor getting in when it was at 10,000. But there's some of the big institutions, they're looking at Bitcoin right now at 50,000 and they're players. It's all relative, but they're players at 50. But now those same guys, the same institutional buyers, they might be looking at XRP and they're like, oh, it's at $1 something. It could be interesting, but maybe they're not even ready yet. Maybe they're not players until it hits $5, $10, $15, $20 because it improves itself.
Well, look at Polkadot.
So that's.
I remember Polkadot. It just so happens that I remember as clear vision, looking at stuff, looking at what to buy. December 31st of 2020. I remember very clearly Polkadot was sitting at $9. I go, it's going to probably hit 13, maybe 15 in the next, 3, 4, 5 months. And then you look at it, goes way past 40. But again, you're right. It's kind of in that mode where it gets to a certain level and you start seeing a lot of buy-ins from people. So it's one of those weird sort of things.
That's it.
I want to jump into this next story head first, because this one too is another one we talk about that we've been talking about this for some time. But the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is causing confusion in the crypto industry with inconsistent rulings and handling of the Ripple lawsuit. Now, Wall Street Journal editorial piece blasted them right in the face.
Oh, yeah.
The Wall Street Journal editorial board is blaming the SEC for taking an inconsistent approach in dealing with the Ripple lawsuit, which could have adverse effects on crypto regulation. The SEC filed the lawsuit against Ripple and its executives over its alleged 1.3 billion issuance of XRP tokens as unregistered securities. But they criticized the handling of the Ripple SEC case, claiming that the regulators are creating danger for who, Jeff? Retail crypto users and their approach in the case.
Yeah, man.
I was going to say, according to the Post, the regulator is providing inconsistencies in dealing with XRP as a security, while giving other cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, a pass as assets. This is pretty crazy, right?
Look at these statements right here. I like this quote. I think this says it all right here. Two contradictory statements.
Back to back. So yeah, the SEC believes Bitcoin and Ether aren't securities in part because their developers don't profit from their sale. But those exemptions were announced through statements from former SEC chairman Jay Clayton in 2019 and 2020 with no formal rule making.
And it's interesting. The SEC overall kind of left it open. And here's something, Chip, we were talking about earlier, that if you look at the SEC, and we talked about it a little last night too, but SEC activity or inactivity over the past years, even with Jay Clayton there, I've seen too many people coming out antagonistic against Jay Clayton. But in fact, what did they do? Over the past 4 years, they really haven't done much as it pertains to the digital asset space. However, he did come out in different speeches and he made statements saying that he doesn't believe they're securities because of X, but the SEC at large still didn't do anything formally over it. So they really didn't sit down and say, hey, this is exactly what it is. I also believe, as we've been talking about for so long, that it's not the SEC's position to even come up with a specific ruling on it. It goes back to Congress. And that's what Jay Clayton believed as well. And that's why he didn't do anything, over all these years. It was open-ended. They kept leaving it, said, hey, something's got to be done. But now you bring in Gensler, where you're having some expectation that now the SEC is actually going to create regulation, but they don't create regulation. They rule on the laws that are on the books to help provide the guidance, or they bring suit and they make claims against companies. They say, well, you're dealing in an unregistered security. Well, based on what law? Based on what ruling? Well, we're going to go back to the Howey test. Then we're going to bring you to court, and then we're going to prove it in court. So now how does this all transpire, Chip? I mean, it's crazy. So here we have all these statements, people ganged up on Jay Clayton, but now really maybe he's not the bad guy after all. Maybe it was his purpose going through all those years doing, leaving things open-ended. He believed that Bitcoin and Ethereum weren't securities. Maybe he believed the same thing with XRP. Who knows? We won't know. But he dropped this case and said, here you go. Here's how you're going to resolve it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of high expectations for Gary Gensler. It's like, oh, he's confirmed. And when he's confirmed, and then what do we hear? Reports out saying that Gensler is waiting for something to happen, right? He's waiting for the Biden administration to create regulation. Well, guess what? They're not going to do any legislation because they don't. They can suggest things all day long. Now they're talking about the Treasury and Janet Yellen. Yikes. That's another misnomer right there. But if you start thinking about in terms of regulation, you know what's sitting on Maxine Waters' desk in the Financial Services Committee? Something called the token taxonomy. Third time it's been reintroduced in March.
Seen it. Yeah.
And by the way, all they're talking about is like, well, the Biden administration is going to be crap. They don't do it. They can make all suggestions, but the legislators pass. That's the House of Representatives, and that's the Senate. First, it goes through the House, gets its vote on. First, it comes out. Forget about that. First, it comes out of committee. Now, I went out and tweeted all the committee members because we should be blasting them in the face with a fire hose, and just hitting them up, because that's what you guys want to make a difference out there. Hit up the Financial Services Committee and say, look, this is a bipartisan support. You got the same amount of Democrats as you have Republicans on both sides. Get off your ass and start making something happen. Talk to them and say, listen, guys, vote on this. What are you waiting for? Just go ahead and make the vote. And now Gary Gensler is like, oh, Gary Gensler's pro crypto, right?
In my
Check
mind,
this out.
Let's see.
Check this out. Watch what he has to say here, and let's see let's see what he has to say here.
most, maybe not all, but most initial coin offerings are securities. Because
How about that? Gary Gensler, this is obviously an older video, but he believes they're all securities. Let's listen in.
there are investment contracts where there is an exchange of money, there's a common enterprise, you're relying on somebody else's expertise for profits. And this is why I've earlier this year said I think that most of them are. I think Ether, when it was done in 2014, would pass this test. When I say
the savior Gary Gensler believes that ETH security. He's right, by the way.
It's a security. Now, subsequently, the SEC has said by 2018 it's decentralized enough, and they've sort of said, we'll let it go the other way.
Yeah. So there you go.
They'll let it go the other way. So he said it was decentralized enough. Well, we know it's been decentralized.
Enough.
More than beyond enough, to the point of where it's well decentralized. I mean, Ripple holds 7% of the validator nodes.
Ethereum started with a pre-sale and an ICO, which we'll be talking about 72 million.
No, we're not going to talk about that tonight, Gary, but thanks. Appreciate it.
No, we're not going to get into that. That's not.
No, but anyway, by talking about, he says, and he's absolutely spot on. Back in the day, it was. So this is where I think, what we've had the biggest issue with this whole SEC v Ripple thing is that they compromised their main mission statement, which is to look out for retail investors. And all they could have done is saying, you know what, we are alleging, our complaint is about the 2013 was sold as an unregistered security. However, we believe it's decentralized enough past 2015, 2016, or whatever it is, that the retail holders need not worry because it's clearly decentralized, right? They could have made a distinction.
But yet it comes to XRP and they stay silent. It really is interesting also because you think about the impact of XRP, or really it's not XRP, the asset itself, it's really the impact of Ripple. So if you want to break down the top 3 assets, what is Bitcoin threatening overall? Is it really threatening brick and mortar banks? Are banks going to go away because of Bitcoin? Nobody believes that at this point. Not going to happen in the near future anyways. Is it a store of value? I think now we even had a Fed chair come out and say, yes, it's identified now. Bitcoin is a store of value. ETH, what is it threatening? It's smart contracts. It can help fulfill the movement of business transactions in smart contracts. Then you go down to XRP and they look at XRP and they're like, well, wait a minute. XRP does a lot of amazing things, and it's basically going to somehow have an impact on how money is moved cross borders. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. If it actually can have an impact on moving money cross borders, how does that impact the control mechanisms of the banks? How does that impact the control mechanism of SWIFT? Oh, well, wait a minute. Ripple, this company, has built their entire company based on taking on SWIFT and changing the way money is moved across borders efficiently, instant settlement, cheaply. And like, well, wait a minute, that changes a lot of things because the government tied into the Fed, tied into SWIFT, tied into the banks. All of a sudden, they found the one project that is extremely competitive with the nature of all these financial instruments that the government is tied into. So why would they not then, start looking at this? There you go. Now they're looking at it and say, there's your competition. And that's why they're going to single it out a little bit differently than with Bitcoin or Ethereum. And that could, I don't know. I'm not in their brain. So I'm just looking
I don't think anybody is, but I want to say, so XRP Speedball, thank you for that, Fiverr. SEC and SWIFT, dance partners that don't want new busting moves on the money moving floor. That's right. That's well said. That's good. They don't want new partners. Hell no. No. But the funny thing about it is, though, you got a really good point there, Speedball, because the whole issue of the control that the United States has against bad actors, right? Iran's doing something, we cut them off. They could cut off from the banking system. Russia, cut them off from the banking system. And so that's a kind of control that will not be available as the new players move in. You've got the old guard, you've got the new guard, and they're not going to meet in the center. Rob McDermott says, my great grandchildren will be thanking me, and I'm abs. And I'll make sure my family office knows the whole story around how granddad did it.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Nice, Rob. Appreciate that. And that's the funny thing is you're talking about creating a legacy, right? A legacy because you invested the time, the research, the effort, and and the diamond hands, man. And it was great, having Rob in the meetup too. It's great always getting to talk to the family as well. But thank you for that, man. That's really good. It's like, and I think a lot of us will be in that scenario. Will they be like, so how did great granddad do this exactly? And why am I sitting on Easy Street? Let me tell you a little story there. They'll have a little story. I want to jump into this next story, Jeff. Right?
Oh man, hammering the stories. Let's go. One more.
Boom. XRP holders will soon receive Flare's highly anticipated airdrop. Jeff, we thought it was like 3 years from now. It turns out that for the first time, Flare Networks is formulating a very firm date on which it will execute the highly anticipated token drop.
Wow.
Flare Networks is announcing that it will likely, see, that's one of those words, Jeff. Get the air quotes, likely, which means like, maybe could be distributing its native Flare token to XRP holders late this June. And you're thinking, well, it's almost May now.
June.
It's coming up.
The end of June. The end of June is good. I like end of June.
right? It's good timing. It's right before Christmas in July. So you
That's
have
right.
like the flare distribution will start when the flare network goes live. So that's the thing. When does that go live? Teams working to make this happen safely as soon as possible. It is dependent on finishing security testing. We expect the end of June, give or take two. What is this, Jeff? What is this?
Give or take, plus or
So two
minus
months.
2 to 4 weeks. So
It's not going to be
any time
minus.
between the end of May and beginning of July. How about that?
That's closer. How about this summer?
Or end of July. It'll be end of July
when is
because we're talking
summer
about end of June. So end of June, plus or minus 2 to 4 weeks. So end of May to end of July, beginning of August.
That's
How about
exactly right.
How about sometime between now and before the beginning of September?
How about before now and the close of 2021? Sometime before now and the end of the year. We're pretty confident about
like
that, right? But I got to give them a lot of credit. I mean,
Right.
listen, they went ahead and they decided to do this whole thing. I mean, to me, it's incredible that
it's
they
massive.
even did it, right? I mean,
Well, I think one of the things, scroll up a minute, and I think they have a very valid point. So they're saying they wanted to go live, but they're working to make it happen safely. And they wanted to do it soon. There's probably a ton of testing, a lot of security testing. If they roll this thing out too soon, and there are any holes in it, somebody's going to find that hole, and then the whole thing comes crashing down. So at this point, they want to make sure it's airtight. And when they know it's airtight, then they're going to roll it out. Until then, then we wait. I mean, maybe, now we're in the know. Imagine they built this project, but they didn't alert people with the airdrop until they knew that it was secure. And then when they knew 100% it was secure, they came out and said, by the way, we have this amazing program. We're going to do an airdrop, and it's going to happen in 2 or 3 weeks, because they know it's 100% secure. But now they've built the momentum. They've had all the discussion. People are already looking and figuring out how they can build on Flare. So you get all this stuff happening in the meantime. So when they do a rollout, it's going to be a massive rollout. Plus, they're building, the anticipation. So that to me, it means a lot. It really does.
it's free, Jeff. I mean, my God, look the gift horse in the mouth. You want to take that?
What does it say? Internet educate. Wait a minute. What happened to? Isn't that
Yeah,
was?
wait a minute.
Wait
here.
a minute.
Someone's
Switching
pulling
up-
a fast one on us.
Switching up names here. See.
See? IE 101.
So IE 01. Oh, 101. I missed the
101.
101.
IE 101. Yeah, right on.
IE 101. So it went from what was it before? HBI. HBI was
yeah, I
easy.
think
Now we
that's
got to
right.
remember IE 101. All right. So let's see what we got here. Listening to you guys. Help keep me in the know. Thanks. Raffle off reusable bags. Consider it.
LOL. Raffle off of it. Yeah.
Oh,
Reusable. Wait.
Are we talking about the bags from the on the chain bag, right?
OTC bags.
OTC
Right. That's
bag.
actually
There
not a
you
bad
go.
idea. That's
I'm
not a
trying
bad
to
idea.
think. Reusable. Wait a minute. How can we raffle off some of the used XRP?
No, they're talking about those bags. Yeah, right on. That's
Right.
the on the chain bags. That's actually an interesting idea. Yeah, we'll have to think about a way to incorporate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This right here, John Doe says,
Awesome.
give or take a quarter.
Give or take.
It could be third quarter, it could be fourth quarter. I'm usually
take a
picking
quarter or a year
now,
or two.
But it's so funny, Jeff. It's like when I looked at XRP price, it was like $1.30 something, and I'm like, everyone's
Steve in NVA,
Northern Virginia.
SEC, a protection racket.
All right, you said it. We didn't say it, Steve. We're just reading out what you're saying. But John Doe says, the quarter, either yesterday or late summer or, But here's the funny thing about it. I was looking at the price. It's like, can you imagine like 3 weeks ago if you thought the XRP would have even come close to $1.80? You've been like, what? And now you're like, it's like,
End
no
of
big deal.
June is 1,801 days plus or minus 4 or 2 weeks.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
You go.
It's somewhere in the
in there.
beginning
Yeah,
of
it's somewhere in the neighborhood of that whole
in the
thing.
neighborhood of 2021-ish.
So the fact that they're airdropping, the fact that they chose XRP holders, and then we're getting a little over 1 per. We're getting like 1 point something. What's up, Alex D? What's up, Alex D Vlogs? What's up? Moon, Brian Brooks. Yo, Brian Brooks. Yeah, we talked about Brian Brooks.
Man, so Brian Brooks is now going to be taking over as CEO of Binance. Check that out. So Coil is leaving and Brian Brooks is stepping in. You know what I find is interesting? You know, all of these big crypto houses, Binance, where did we have Jay Clayton went to? What was the name of the
Hinman
group?
and Clayton, they both went to.
Hinman and
Well,
Clinton went to.
Clayton went to Apollo, and then Hinman
Right.
went to that firm that basically went double down on ETH and Bitcoin. So they all went to these crypto firms, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so Brian Brooks, but Brian is, it's interesting. So you get Binance US to a certain point with Coil, and now Brian Brooks steps in as CEO, and she's actually departing from the board as well. So he's coming in, full-fledged, going to be taking over. It says here she's going to do. Catherine Coley's departing by the beginning of May, and then Brian Brooks is stepping in. It's interesting. It really is. Now these big entities, their play is political. So think about you bring a Jay Clayton in, you bring a Hinman in, you bring a Brian Brooks in, and think about the leverage that they're creating. The people that they know. It changes the whole conversation of where the space is going. So I do believe they're bringing out the big guns because they believe that they're going to need it, as we move through regulation.
That's exactly right. And you look at, it's funny too, because you find like somebody like Mary Jo White ends up on the defense of Ripple side, the former, a former SEC chair. And then you have another former SEC chair writing a letter saying, don't do this. You're going to do not file a lawsuit against Ripple. You're absolutely going to crush the retail investors. But again, the funny thing about it, Jeff, you bring it up and say, well, Clayton's the bad guy, the reptilian figure that went and dropped this on the last day. Okay, but let's look at Library. Here's Library that's been chugging along for a couple of years now. And what do? This is after Clayton left. They didn't even have they had an interim SEC chair, and what were they doing? Going after another company called Library because they're selling an unregistered security. It's getting silly, Jeff.
Right. That's right.
What was that? What was that you had on the screen there?
I just want to say goodnight to Catherine McClelland. Apparently she's got to get up early in the morning, and so she's leaving the live stream early.
That's okay. You can catch it tomorrow. And then also too, thank you, Connie. Please hit that like, subscribe. If it's your first time here, smash those thumbs up as well. But it does help us out. And by the way, you'll get a little notice every time we drop a video. And we put these live ones up, you'll get a notice about a half hour before and be like, oh, they're going live in a half hour. And then you'll know, and you'll get another notice when we go live. So appreciate that, Connie. Appreciate the reminder for that.
So I want to pull this up. So as we get into a little bit of government speak. So Ron Hammond, and I saw some comments over here talking about how there's some bipartisan bills that were recently passed through Congress, but Ron Hammond is also talking about.
Holy cow, Jeff! It just did it again.
What's that?
He said it went through Congress.
Oh yeah,
just did a me moment.
Except it was a me. Congress. So big week from crypto in Congress. We'll be voting tomorrow to reauthorize the FinTech Task Force, and the House will be voting on Patrick McHenry's legislation to create a working group between the SEC and the CFTC. Don't expect much traction in the Senate. But this good, now it's the task force. The task force is more conversational. They're researching, they're checking things out. But Patrick McHenry, it's important to have a working group between the SEC and the CFTC because they're both really at odds with each other, trying to figure out, which one is going to be responsible for what. So, it's a good statement from Ron Hammond. My response back was Congress doing what Congress does best, bloviate.
That's about nailed it. I was like, look at that guy, nailed it. Oh, it's Jeff. Hey,
Jeff. Look at that. Who said that? That was pretty smart.
That's exactly what they do.
There you go. Yep. So awesome stuff right there. It's
Henry, though, right? Look, it's a good first step, but I mean, it's about 7 years too late. But anyway, I guess better late than never. I mean, Ron Hammond, who finally coming out against something good. He's the government director of government relations over at the Blockchain Association, and we've seen how silent they've been. It's like that's your job is to promote and protect and look after, and they're like, oh, let's not look over there. Let's just kind of like Keep our head down. Don't look up. Maybe they won't see us. I mean, that's not the way you should be acting in any way, shape, or form, man. I don't think so anyway.
Yeah, so IE 101 says, doesn't get the stormiest, darkest, and toughest before the great dawn.
Man, isn't that the truth? Preach. So there's also something weird going on out there. What do you do? The House just passed 6 bipartisan financial services bills.
I have to read each one of them individually. I didn't see.
I don't know what they are, but I don't have a lot of faith in the Financial Services Committee. If you look at who the members are, I have zero. I mean, who knows? They could totally surprise me.
We'll have to read through them. We'll go through them. We can report back tomorrow. That'd be interesting. So, and it's got, it has to go to the Senate. There's still a lot more going on. So,
yeah, there's something different about ex-Ripple CTO Jed McCaleb's XRP dumping pattern, Jeff. Apparently, people are paying attention to this. Jed received, obviously, disbursement of 9 billion XRP coins because he helped create the company. As his role, he was the first chief tech officer. Obviously, it's been surging since the start of April. And at the press time, it was trading at 138, capitalization of 160. So it says, according to data from XRP scan over the past 10 days, co-founder of Ripple, Jed McCaleb dumped nearly 140 million XRP from his taco stand wallet, which was named and activated when McCaleb was still working at Ripple. The aforementioned transactions mainly comprised 8,398,180 XRP over 7 transactions, 4 transfers of 12 million XRP, 2 carrying 22 point. Can you imagine that kind of jack? I mean, and wait till, and as soon as he sells the last trough of these, boom, the price is going through the roof. Because that's what happens when I usually buy, it usually dips or somebody else goes up, right? 453
million XRP that he was sitting on. And he might have been required to sell off a certain amount. I mean, everyone was picking on him, ganging up on him, but we don't know what kind of agreement was made, when he left. And so there's a good possibility that he was required to sell it off and put it into the market and do it slowly. Because you can't have somebody sitting on that kind of quantity that is on the other side. He could drop it all at one time and tank the whole market.
He couldn't. That was the restriction. So the reason they pulled him back into court a couple of years ago is because he was doing just that. He was trying to dump it all, create a lot of market disruption. So when they went back to court, he has a limit of how many he can dump per day. So I don't know anything beyond that, but that was kind of what happened. 158 million per 0.2 million per week. So it's kind of interesting. They think that his XRP riches may dry up by August or September of this year. I heard it was earlier, but I don't know, if his dumping patterns changed a little bit. But 22.6 million, I mean, only some of us could actually fathom having that much, and he's dumping it like it's yesterday's news. And like, what's going to happen after he makes all those dumps, Jeff? And then he's like, he doesn't have anything to really lay back on. And what's he doing? Putting in, I would guess XLM, right? Is he buying into XLM? We don't really know. Is there any transparency over there? I mean, why would he keep it in fiat? That seems like a bad move. Look at that. Imagine Jed's tax bill. Exactly. Hodl the Oddle says, imagine his tax bill. You know what? Those are good problems to have. I'd like to have that problem. Like, oh God, Jeff, you know how many millions of dollars I paid in taxes? Oh, if you're paying a lot of taxes, it means you're doing something right. You're making a lot of jack sound, a lot of jack for sure.
Yep.
He's putting everything into Doge, says Oscar. Oscar says, yeah, definitely into Doge, which, by the way, speaking of Doge, and did you mention Hester Peirce yet?
We haven't brought that up at all.
Okay, well, I don't know if it's a good time to bring it up, but Hester Peirce, video? I do have another video. Let's go take a look at that. Let's go to the video, Jeff. What does the video say? Hang on one second. Let's see. Let's look at this. So Hester Peirce was on she was on CoinDesk TV today, and they asked her about Dogecoin. This is what she had to say. Check this out.
Even that Dogecoin would fit within the SEC's ambit, depending on whether or not one would consider purchases and sales to be securities purchases and sales. So, but look, I think.
Quick question: is that a shower curtain behind her, Jeff? Just curious. I mean, I think it's one of those tapestries, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
She's very animated in this, but anyway, let's hear what she has to say about Doge.
People buy and sell lots of things, and I always give the same advice. you've got to know what you're getting.
Buy the same. She gives them the same advice. Don't do it, or the SEC is going to sue your ass. I mean,
That's where they're coming after you. Yeah.
She's like, don't do it. Don't do it. I give them the same advice. Know what you're getting into.
If you're getting into it because you think it's fun, that's fine. But understand that you can lose.
Because you think it's fun. That's why she's looking at Dogecoin.
You can do it. But just remember. Just remember. Ready? What is she
money? If you're getting into something with the idea of making money over the long term, make sure you're asking lots of questions and not just following the crowd. You've got to make your own decisions, but don't come complaining to the government if you lose your money.
Don't come complaining to us, Jeff. We only look after retail investors. Don't look at us. Oh my God, Jeff. Let's hear that one more time. Don't come complaining to us. This is crazy.
The crowd, you've got to make your own decisions, but don't come complaining to the government if you lose your money.
Oh, well, God forbid. God forbid the government would do anything to protect the people.
God forbid. So what she's basically saying is you should have listened to the government to begin with, because we're there to keep you safe. We're going to make sure that you don't make the wrong decisions. You don't invest in the wrong things. And there you go.
It almost made me spit my water on my screen and camera. Listen, and sometimes we joke about Hester Peirce. Honestly, she really is the only person in the SEC that really seems to have crypto at her, I got the best heart, But the thing about it is, a lot of chitter chatter, a lot of lip service doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate into something that's going to be good. And we just keep talking about it's going round and round on the gamut. It's like, so yesterday the big story was the Biden administration is they're crafting some legislation, which they don't do. That's what Congress does. So it's like everyone's gone Looney Tunes. Like they forgot how government works. They're like, someone's doing something. Let's go do it. What good is she? That's exactly right. Listen, I mean, dear Hester, don't worry.
She's not watching.
By the way, I said something to Jeff today. I said, you know what, Jeff, something, because Tony's been crushing it over there on Thinking Crypto. Today he had Stefan Tomas. Tomorrow I think he has Brad Garlinghouse. And I said to Jeff, you know what the good thing is we never have to worry about? Brad Garlinghouse, Hester Peirce, Stefan Tomas coming on the chain. It's just not going to happen, man. It's not going to be like they're like, oh, what should we do? Should we do this? Let's go on to Tony. Tony's like a sensible guy, great interviewer. Don't want to go on there. Hester Peirce definitely not coming on. Should we invite her, Jeff?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
We should
watch the show.
Definitely invite her on.
So what do you have
never
to say,
know. She's probably watching right now.
She is not watching right now.
She is watching right now. She said, you know what? I heard, Chip and Jeff were talking about the video I made the other day. I want to tune in and see what they have to say today. Then, so she's obviously always welcome on the chain. We'd be very welcoming, accommodating, and we could have a nice conversation, a little bit of banter. And we want to talk about personal opinion versus speaking in your official capacity.
That's exactly right. Because we'll be talking in our official capacity, but not our personal capacity, which means we'll be nice to you. We won't be talking in our personal capacity, which would be like dogging her, right? So we wouldn't definitely do that.
Yesterday we were speaking in our personal capacity.
Yeah, just so you know,
official capacity.
Not our official capacity, Jeff. We weren't doing our official capacity.
Official or official?
Ooh, there we go. It's official. Well, look at this right here. Check this out. Look at the top coins are getting the most attention on Twitter right now. So look at this right here. Top 10 coins most mentioned on Twitter. Obviously, Bitcoin, the king, right? And number 2, Doge, right behind it. Then we've got E. So basically, somehow or another, Doge squeezed between the two big boys and girls there and said, hey, Bitcoin on this side. I want Ethereum over here, ETH here, you guys over here. I'm making a little home for myself right between you. And then in third place, we had Cake, which most people like Cake, big fans of Cake. Then we had Chain Link. Then we had XRP, which look at 65%, right? What is that 65%? Oh, 65% change in 7 days. So it went up over the last 7 days. Bitcoin fell 9. Doge was up 363. Then we had Cardano. Then we had Rari. Then we had XTC. Then we had BNB. And BNB has been just killing it lately. What's it at right now, Jeff? Out of curiosity, it was 5 something. It dipped a little bit below 500, but then I think it kind of made a little bit of a comeback.
BNB is at 581.
You got to be kidding me, man! That thing just moving like crazy.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know,
whole
I thought that
market kind of shifted again. Dogecoin's up 244%. With BNB's up 5% in the past 7 days.
Now, you know how I love to talk about Apple, and you know it's my favorite thing to talk about, but check this out here. The crypto market cap has reached 2 trillion plus. It's currently at the top 2 among the largest assets. So when will crypto market cap flip Apple? Let's go to the numbers here. So if you look, you've got Apple at 2.119 trillion. Right there is the crypto market. Of course, they use Bitcoin because obviously that represents all
the
crypto.
whole thing. That's right.
Right? They couldn't put any other coin there because you would be like, well, what is that? You know, what if you put the XRP there? You'd be like, I don't know what that is, right?
They should put the Doge.
They should put the Doge, a little Ibu. Yeah, the little cute little dog. Then look, you have the Saudi Aramco there. It's right there, 1.89 trillion.
Nice.
Microsoft at 1.859. Amazon, a 1.6 trillion, Google 1.4, Facebook 872 billion, Tencent at 806 billion, Tesla 663 billion, and Alibaba back in the in last place, pulling up the rear at 629. This is going to flip pretty soon. This is
we're
going to
not
be
that far
calm.
away. You put Bitcoin back over 60,000, and there you go.
And there you go. You flipped it, and that's like the biggest leader. And look at, but I was kind of shocked that I guess Amazon and Google too, right? 1.6 and 1.4. Google's lost a little bit of steam. They used to be higher, I think 1.7, 1.8, but it seems like they've lost a little bit of steam. It's a little bit silly, but I thought those charts were really nice. I know that this is Coin98 Analytics. They do if you guys follow them, they're at Coin98 Analytics. They do a lot of really nice graphics, comparing stuff, just in a tweet. It's something you can really understand.
Hey, Fruit Loops is asking, is Dogecoin a fork of Litecoin? And I believe I heard the same thing. Do you know, I believe it is a fork somehow of Litecoin. That's what I've heard that brought up multiple times. I don't have any confirmation of that fact.
I thought it was a fork of something else. Let's go to the Twitters and the Googles and ask. I don't know if that's right or not. I thought I heard something else.
That is correct. Tony Fisk said it is correct, and Razor
it is fork Litecoin. Yep. Written in C++. Yep. Same as Bitcoin.
Fork of Lucky Coin, not Litecoin, but Lucky Coin.
It was lucky when Mr. Lee was running the show there. It was very lucky to just take your coins
Fork
and
of
go.
Lucky Coin, I heard.
There you go. Yeah, Cyan Blaze. An interesting name on 420. Huh.
Yes.
How about that? Huh.
Very nice.
How about that,
Very
She?
fortuitous.
Yeah, the top 10 coins. Go ahead, Jeff. I thought you were going to say something there.
I just turned back to CoinGecko.
And what do we got?
Nothing.
We got nothing.
We've got nothing. I was.
You got to have something, Jeff.
Well, I'll tell you what we got. If it will actually open, which it's not.
Oh, you're having issues now too, huh?
Oh, there we go. So XDC is sitting at 10 cents. That's it. That's all I got. 10 cents. Was it 11? Was it 12? Was it 13? But it's sitting at 10. You know what the significance of XDC sitting at 10 cents is that even in the pullback, as you look at all these different assets, they're all holding like this. They're very resilient, across the board.
Well, that's exactly right. It is exactly right, spot on because
playing solitaire over here. Caught me.
He's playing chess.
Caught me.
Don't kid yourself. There's another great story. It says the XRP community tells the SEC, you don't represent our interests. Members of the XRP community have filed a motion to intervene in the U.S. regulators' action against Ripple.
Yep.
So XRP holders filed a motion claiming the SEC doesn't represent their interests. Community investors, developers, and business owners claims that Ripple cannot be relied on to defend their interests either. XRP, blah, 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 the memorandum. This is, of course, was filed in the Southern District of New York. Intervening defendants claim that many businesses have been hurt by the SEC lawsuit. Yep, many, almost everybody who has anything to do with it, right? SEC put the property XRP holders at the heart of this case and positions its interests at the complete opposite end of the spectrum from that of XRP holders, said the memorandum. John Deaton of Deaton Law said he filed a motion on behalf of 6 XRP holders and similarly situated XRP holders, which is all of us. So whether or not, and it just means anybody that is an XRP holder is similarly situated, right? But obviously he's gone on to explain who those holders are that he actually named in there. The document states the defendants, Ripple, have also made it clear they do not represent the interests of XRP holders, and thus intervening defendants cannot rely on them. And I think that's a really good point, Jeff, because if everything the SEC is alleging here, if us as XRP holders, investors could rely on Ripple, Ripple doesn't have anything really to do with XRP other than the fact that they really build software that carries out, whether it's on-demand liquidity or the Ripple net, whatever it is, it has a functionality, but happens to use the decentralized asset XRP. Yeah, I do think that's kind of a clever way to sort of word that, because it kind of flies in the face of everything the SEC is alleging here.
Right. Exactly. 100%.
Are you playing solitaire, Jeff? I think Tony Fisk was right. I think you're playing solitaire over there.
Yes, maybe I am.
Yeah, it could be. See,
Yes,
that's what it is. See, yeah, I might be.
What we're doing over here. See.
Yeah, emboldened by recent wins on the ongoing legal battle with the SEC, Ripple filed a motion to dismiss the SEC entirely. The U.S. District Court Judge Sarah Netburn, who's a complete badass, has granted a string of other recent motions from Ripple. One allowed for redactions of certain documents with email exchanges. Another will expose the internal SEC writings about Bitcoin and Ethereum to bolster the defendant's case that XRP should be excluded from security law. So, Jeff, I want to pose this question to you. They are supposed to provide this to Ripple. What do you think the likelihood is that they're not going to be able to I just don't know. We don't have the records anymore. Do you think any of that might play into it? Or do you think they'll just feed them like useless documents?
I'm concerned. I still have some level of concern as it comes to the SEC, really sharing anything that is going to be beneficial at the end of the day, but that's where, once you get into the court case, they're going to have to present whatever they're going to present, but I think, overall outcome of the case, we have 2 critical cases. You have the SEC against Ripple. Simultaneously, you have the community going after the SEC. We have to have a positive outcome, but if you have if the SEC v. Ripple goes negatively, then how does that impact the other side of the case? So let's say the SEC comes out negative, and then you have the XRP community against the SEC comes out positive. Where does that leave us? Because I think, you definitely have, a couple major issues when you have, when you look at the outcome of the KIK case regarding the KIN token, so they had a $5 million penalty, but yet nothing ever happened to the retail investor. There's no major statement from the SEC pertaining to the retail investor in the KIN token. In this scenario, you could have a similar outcome where the SEC wins against Ripple. I'm not saying that that's what would happen, but I think it's interesting. Let's say they had a similar outcome as they did with KIK. Ripple has to pay a penalty. There's really no, specificity on what retail investors should or shouldn't do. But now you have this other case that is specifying we're retail investors and we want to make sure that, that our investment rights, so to speak, are being protected. Nobody did that on the KIN side. It was just kind of left out in the air, and that's how it was settled. So these 2 cases, I think, are really important. The fact that John Deaton brought it now to work in tandem like this, I think is critical.
Yeah, it was something funny the other day. I saw Jungle Inc. had tweeted something about, someone was asking about the regulation or like the court case about, was there anything official about BTC and ETH as far as on the books over there at the SEC? It was more like statements that were made. And Jungle, and I'm paraphrasing, but it responded something to the effect of, no, they sue you first, and then you kind of find out where you stand. It was something along the lines of that, because that's kind of exactly what happens. And I want to go back to this Deaton tweet here, where Crypto Law, at Crypto Law US, which is John Deaton's one of the founders over there, Behind the judge's back, the SEC violated U.S. civil court rules by issuing multiple MOUs to obligate foreign governments to obtain files from Ripple's foreign business partners. They got caught. Read the full letter. About the letter to Judge Netburn. And then I love this statement right here. I want to thank the SEC for providing me with even more motivation as Monday's deadline fast approaches. He wrote this, I believe, on Sunday. Yep. Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson will be fine no matter what happens in this case. Plus, they have an army of lawyers. But I have an army. That's us, Jeff. We are the XRP
army.
We are the XRP army. We aren't taking this lightly. We aren't taking it sitting down. And I know 10,000 people went in, but I mean, there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who actually own XRP. And a lot of new people probably just came in last 3 weeks, right? That came in because of the recent surge. So,
well, what do we say? How many wallets? Yeah, thank you for that, Fruit Loops. How many wallets did we say there were? We looked it up. I think Sunday night was there like 3.5, 3.6 million wallets, something like that.
There were a lot of like empty wallets that I just had the obligatory 20 XRP, which is the minimum you need to open a wallet. But Steph I says it right here, Johnny Deaton, and I like John E. It's like, hey Johnny, what's up, Johnny?
John E.
John E. Okay, gotcha.
John E.
So,
Johnny.
Yeah, so the SEC has until May 3rd to present opposing arguments to their motion, and the intervening defendant's attorney, John Deaton, will have an opportunity to present the community's case to a federal judge on May 17th. Mark your calendars, who will decide whether or not it should be granted. Since the SEC announced charges against Ripple, institutions linked to the startup have ditched their partner. Here we go with the FUD. Ditched their partner. We ditched the partnership, Jeff, citing legal risks. But this is kind of the whole thing. It's because they don't know where they stand. It'd be like, are they going to come getting poked in the eyes next? It's possible. Look at this. The mixed, otherwise known as J Soul. Thank you for that 10 spot. Rock. Noobs rock. Noobs rock. So, yeah.
Hey, our buddy from Quebec is here, and he said it still sucks.
keep chin up. Chin up.
You know, that's because they shut them down over there in Canada.
I know. They've been kind of oppressive there too, but Quebec is a beautiful city. Yeah. It is really fantastic. But just look at this chart from April. This is it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Get a little bit of a pullback and then zoom.
Nice. There you go.
Of my monitor, Jeff, to the moon.
Perfect.
It gets right off there to the moon, man. It's definitely where it's headed, to the moon. Currently, XRP. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Doge too. But remember, they have a use case. People out there, if they start telling you that Doge doesn't have a use case, it does. It's going to be able to participate in Flare.
And someone brought that up in the chat. So.
Yeah, well, that's because they're smartest people in crypto right here. Oh, hey, we have Ontario in the place too. Yeah, I grew up right by Niagara Falls, New York, so I spent a lot of time in Ontario.
Where's Ontario? Who's in here?
Right
there.
Oh, there we just had it.
Oh, well, Speedboat.
Speedboat's up there. Speedboat, Ontario. Yeah, I spent some time up there. Ontario.
We have a whole crowd in the on the chain community that happens to be in Canada.
Yeah. Crypto Eddie put a very good video about Doge today too, and I started watching a little bit of it, then I got distracted. Somebody said the word cassettes, and I was like, what? Please. Yeah, because somebody said something about cassettes, Jeff, and I got my...
The usual, sir. Please.
Please. Oh, we have Canada in the house. Dana's here. Canada. Welcome. I'll tell you what, Jeff.
Canada or California?
One of the things I've noticed over the years is some of the funniest comedians are... Canadians are funny people, man. I don't know, just really funny. Please, see, Rob's on it. He was already on it. Oh, please.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you know what that flag is right there?
Which flag?
You don't see it on the screen?
MX.
Jeff, did you fork the channel?
I did. I've got a whole new channel going on over here on the other side.
I think you may have forked the channel, man.
I did. It's over here.
Did you fork it?
Yep. I'm gonna call it OTC Light.
OTC Light. They're actually, yeah, see right there? Look at Oscar called it out. He knew you were secretly forking the channel.
That's right.
I knew it had to be true. It had to be true. There had to be some kind of official thing to it. We got Thailand in the house as well.
Nice.
What's up, Johnny Nevermind?
Nice.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Oh, we got South Detroit in here. Billy Bob is here from South Detroit in Canada. He's over in Windsor. Oh, South Detroit is actually in Canada.
Yeah, that's South
Actually,
Detroit. Yeah.
Because yeah.
That's what Journey was talking about in that song. Just was a hometown boy, born and raised in South Detroit.
Nice.
Windsor. Yeah, I've been through Windsor, the Windsor Tunnel, Windsor gambling.
Oh yeah,
I've been there in a while, but
Windsor used to be pretty cool.
it used to be
We'd
pretty
go
cool.
over
I've been
there.
there in years.
Man, there used to be this circuit we'd go on. We'd go out. We'd start off in Birmingham. Then we'd go to Royal Oak. Then we'd go downtown Detroit. And then you'd go to another place. And then someone at the end of the night would say, hey, I think the bars are still open in Canada. And then you cross the border and you go into Canada.
What about Soshimoto? Soshi's that place downtown, that Mexican place. Did you ever go there?
Yeah. Oh, man, that place. That was really good. Yep.
That was fantastic down there.
There was another place in Mexican town called Las Brisas. It was really good too.
Las Brisas. Hey, what was the name of the
Las
place?
Brisas.
That Greek place. Opa.
Opa.
There's like a whole
Yeah,
Greek.
I don't
Opa.
remember what it's called. Opa.
Flaming
That was
cheese, right?
over in Greektown. Yeah.
Yeah, Greektown was like that was a really nice sort of a place.
Man, that
Just
place.
tripping down there.
Greektown was really cool. Yep. Yeah,
Oh, look
it's
at this.
sweet.
Mel G finally figured it out. OTC is on the cassette.
On the cassette.
That's a good one,
Oh,
Mel.
Fish bones. That's right. Yeah, fish
Fish
bones.
bones.
I
Damn,
remember.
look at
And
no
right across the street from Fish Bones was the old Shillelagh. Man,
There you go.
Fish
Damn.
Bones. I remember Fish Bones. Sweet.
Kitchener, Ontario. Man, we got a lot of Canadian fans here, boss.
That's right. Man,
Damn.
crazy.
That's great.
Ah, that's freaking awesome. So, man, what else? What else could we cover in such a short span of time?
Well, I think we pretty much nailed almost all of it. I think that the key thing is you guys, if you guys are buying the merch at the merch store, do me a favor, tag yourself, or you don't have to give away your identity, but take a picture of the merch with you wearing the merch and tag hashtag down with OTC, and also please tag at on the chain. It has underscores underneath all of them at on underscore the Islamabad, Pakistan. Nice.
Islamabad.
Pakistan.
Nice.
Say it again. How do you say Pakistan?
Pakistan.
Pakistan.
Pakistan. Pakistan.
Islamabad.
Pakistan.
Islamabad. Newman.
It's
That's
nice.
good, man. Well, it must
That's
be,
awesome.
gosh, it must be really
Great
early
to have
morning
you
there
here.
then.
They are 10 and a half hours ahead of us.
Damn. Let's see.
So
if I do 12 hours, it's
8:30 in
so
the
it's-
morning. No,
yeah.
it's at 6:30. 6:30?
It's almost
don't know.
6. It's almost 7.
I don't know what time it is over there.
Nobody
it's
knows.
early.
Jeff. Nobody can do that.
Nobody can
There you
figure
go. We
it
have
out.
North Dakota in the house. Grand Forks, beautiful. San Luis.
Yeah. There's somebody
That's
from
cool.
somewhere. Look at that, Florida. We got Florida in the house.
Wow, we got a lot of Floridians too. Jeff and I are
Nice.
Floridians, so there you go.
Very,
There
very
you
cool.
have it. So, guys, just
man.
remember one thing, Jeff. When do we broadcast? Most
we
importantly.
broadcast typically at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Actually, we broadcast 6 days a week. You can come on Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can even tune in 8 a.m. on Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join us on the Huddle Review, but we're live streaming. It's all good. We love seeing everybody here. Appreciate everybody coming out. We are also orchestrating and planning the next virtual on the chain sponsored meetup. Hopefully we'll get that date set in motion and we'll start rolling that out to everybody, but we're excited about that. And we've got the UAE with us here as well. So welcome Manny from the UAE. Good to see you here.
I had a question, but I've since lost it.
Yep.
Anyway, somebody had asked, when is the Doge airdrop? And it's going to be sometime between now and the end of the year.
The Doge, the
yes,
Doge
yeah.
airdrop or the
The
Spark?
Doge airdrop. No, it
The
wasn't the
Doge.
Doge airdrop, Jeff. It was actually the Spark.
The Doge.
The
When are we
Doge
getting
is never
Doge?
getting an airdrop. It's like the Doge coin, I believe, is like the U.S. Treasury. They can print as much Doge as they want, and USDT too. That's another one.
It's perfect.
So
It's perfect.
So
So
guys, really enjoy,
join us tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're brand new to the channel here on the chain, make sure you hit that subscribe button that's right down below the video over there. And that too. Me.
Not too. Me.
Now you're frozen. See, that's what you get.
We'll see you on the next one, guys. Have a good one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.